see that Mr. Brian Johnson has laid a blister in practice lap at 27.03.
Finishing his first lap as I speak, and it's a 21.1, so he goes to second on the board, but Caden Rush is 0.4 faster than everybody else right now with his qualifying lap. His second lap was slower at a 26.9, and Brian Johnson is going to abandon his second lap, won't run a second one, thinks he's got the best out of the car, so that's going to put, at this point,
You're flying at 26.799 there.
I mean, that's 0.4 faster than what we saw even in, or 0.3 faster than what we saw even in practice. So he must have had a different setup just saved just for this moment, because that is a darn near perfect lap here.
That's blistering. But when you run those laps, you're also talking that's 100% tape. And at this track, you try to run 100% tape more than two laps, and you're going to be having a problem. We are running only 71 ambient temperature outside with a track temp of 77. So this track should show us who's got the setup and who doesn't. Typically, these cars are set up on a setup with about an 80-degree track temp, and that 3 degrees will make a difference here. So let's see who's loose and who's not.
And we'll be on that transition portion in from day to night. The sun's setting as we speak, just past 7 o'clock in game. So once these guys get towards the second half of this race, maybe even a little bit before that, we'll be getting to some darkness. The lights will come on. The track will continue to lose temperature and hopefully gain a little bit of grip now that the sun's not beating down on the racetrack. And once we get some more rubber into the racetrack, these guys might have a little more grip.
Well, we're seeing the typical drivers up in the front here. Of course, we see Caden Rush. He's right now got the pole, and Brian Johnson sitting outside of him. Michael Knight has set down a 27.335. Marty Walter is a new one up front. He looks like he might be a contender this week. Of course, there's Stephen West. And here, I think Brian Johnson is going to go out for another lap, put his second lap in. He must have made some changes. David Gervais, welcome back. David Gervais in a 5 car. He's ran at 27.356. And Austin Bolke is running in 7th position right now with a 27.357. They're all fairly within a tenth of each other for the first top 10, which is a good to see, you know.
Yeah, they were pretty bunched up in practice as well. The only outlier at this point here in qualifying is Caden Rush. He's 3.5 tenths faster than Brian Johnson in second place. Johnson looks like he just abandoned his lap again. And I think it's because he just took the checkered flag and actually wrapped up his qualifying time. So qualifying officially over at this point. Caden Rush officially on the pole. And now it's time for pre-race ceremonies.
Oh, we'll do that when we go back live. We're not live right now, correct?
Nope.
Where they can hear us. They can hear us talking right now.
Yes, they can.
That's terrific.
All right, now it's time for the invocation. Let's do that now.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, we just come to you today, Lord, just tell you, Lord, how thankful we are for another beautiful and blessed day today, Lord. Lord, I just ask you, Lord, keep us all safe tonight, Lord. Keep our families safe, Lord. You know what's going on in the world, Lord, and right now, Lord, a lot of us need your comfort, your love, your grace, your mercy, and all your blessings, Lord. Lord, I just ask you tonight, Lord, for a clean and fair race tonight, Lord, for everybody in here, Lord. And we say all these things in your name, Lord. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages.
Oh, say, can't you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
And
We're
we
about
welcome
to
you
start.
back.
183 laps at Darlington. 183 laps. We'll probably see pit stops. Some of these guys can go about 70 laps on the tires in a field run. As Jacob mentioned earlier, I do not foresee that happening, but I've said that before and been proven wrong. So the ones I'm going to watch seeing that would be the biggest risks out there would be Caden Rush, Brian Johnson. I think they're going to try to push the envelope.
We'll have to wait and see at this point. As engines are fired, we're getting ready to get rolling. They actually are rolling now, going through turn number 2. Quickly, let's run through the order. We've got Caden Rush on the pole, Brian Johnson in the 4 on his outside, then third place in row number 2, Mike Knight and Marty Walter in that 511 machine. Stephen West, David Gervais make up row number 3, 5th and 6th. Then 7th and 8th, row number 4, the 25 Austin Bulkey. And 8th, the number 8, Jay Felton. Row number 5. Yeah, that's math. 9th place, number 3, Mike Eames. And rounding out the top 10, the 90, Ron Hollyfield. Everybody's still trying to get organized out there. We did have one driver register and did not show up, Jeffrey Smith. He showed up, he left, never set a lap in practice, never set a lap in qualifying. Is not here for the start of this event, and I'm assuming won't get any points, but we'll have to wait and see. Field comes through turn 4. And the Low Cruise 250 from Darlington Raceway is underway. Great for Caden Rush. He'll take the lead. Clear Brian Johnson going into turn number 1. Mike Eames slides up and almost makes contact further in the back with Ron Hollyfield. Top 5 goes single file. Make it top 7 off 2.
Michael Eames came a little close there to meeting that wall by accident.
Yeah.
No, I'm taking that back. That was Stephen West in the 74 once again here. He's got a new paint
identical
scheme.
schemes. Everybody single file throughout the field. We finish lap 1. Caden Rush out in front. Won just a week ago. Trying to get his 3rd win on the season. And it's, so far it's looking pretty good for him at this point. Just have to wait and see if he can hold out.
Everybody's showing patience. They know these tires are really loose right now, so they're waiting for them to come in. They're going to do about probably 5 laps, and then we'll start seeing some risk takers come out. Most of our accidents, I'm gonna point out that most of the accidents that you will see involved are going to come off of turn 2, unless 3 and 4, somebody catches that wall a little bit too much. But when they come off this turn on 1 and 2, they kind of drift up and they can get somebody loose, as you just seen right there with the 511 getting right in front of the 74 of Stephen West. He took the air right off him, and that's going to bring him around.
Here's the battle for the lead. Brian Johnson, Caden Rush off turn 2. No, that's turn 4. No, that was turn 2. I don't know where I'm at. Here's Johnson for the lead.
Turn on the track.
Somewhere on the racetrack. Here's Johnson looking for the lead. Fighting hard with Caden Rush. As he drops back a little bit now, had an opportunity, couldn't seal the deal, and now he'll try and get back in the draft of Caden Rush and try again here momentarily.
And they're still single file. We should start seeing a little bit of risk takers here coming up in the next 2 laps. More patients are going to get drawn here. I think we have some back in the back of the field here. It looks like we've got a battle between...
It's Hollyfield and Hectus back here for 10th place.
And it looks like Hectus has prevailed.
Yep, he'll take that spot away.
This is not a track where you can easily pass somebody. You have to pick and choose your points. You don't want to try to pass them in the turns. If you do, you could meet by accident.
And the blinking Caden Rush is back from the dead. He was blinking all over the place last week. He's blinking again here as he's trying to hang on to the lead with Brian Johnson. Probably scared Johnson a little bit there coming off turns 3 and 4 when Rush's car blinked out of existence. Now it is back on the racetrack as a big stack up for Marty Walter off turn 2. He loses 2, make it 3 spots going into turn number 3.
I think he got out of it. I think he thought better to stay into it. He's seen that Stephen West and David Gervais in 74 and 5 had a good run, and he didn't want to hold them up, as he sees the same thing with Austin Bolke and Jay Felton. He's going to probably move aside and let them by as well.
He's able to let Bolke by. Felton not so lucky, and the 511 will keep it in the gas. Battle for the lead once again. Here comes Brian Johnson underneath in turns 3 and 4. Johnson slides up the racetrack, and he'll lose time on corner exit to Rush.
It looks like David Gervais is getting a little impatient. He doesn't want to ride behind that third place of Stephen West. He wants that third, and that 5 car is looking pretty aggressive. He's got himself a new paint scheme, some new sponsors tonight, it looks like, and that's a pretty sharp car.
He thought about going in there just too far back. As Brian Johnson, did he just hit the wall there going into turn 3? He certainly got close. Not quite sure if he hit it. I don't think he did. And here comes Gervais off turn 4, underneath West at start-finish, and West will give him the spot. David Gervais to third.
Yeah, as he clips the wall a little bit. You can hit the wall here and not upset the balance of the car. It just depends how you hit it.
First of many Darlington stripes that we'll see live on air tonight, I'm sure about it.
Well, I am impressed. Once again, like last week, these guys are minding their P's and Q's. They know they have a lot of laps ahead of them. And why chance it not to finish by making foolish mistakes? And they are not making these mistakes. They're staying, nose to tail, and they're picking their spots where they can take them. As I say that, it looks like the 511 of Marty Walters pulled right in front of Jay Felton, and Jay Felton is not happy about that situation. That 8 car was upsetted a little bit, but he's going to make a clean pass as well.
He's got a convoy behind him there with Eames, Melvin, and Hectus. So Walter falls from, where did he start? 3rd. He's going to be now in the 10th spot. Ron Hollyfield breathing down his neck at this point.
What happened to Michael Knight? He started way up on the pole. He is way back there now.
He's in 21st.
Yeah.
And you're right. He started in the 3rd spot.
He must have had a very fun incident that we're not seeing. As a 90 car comes around, Marty Walter, as he just falls like an anchor. He must not have it set up right tonight. Or again, he could have what we call a long run setup.
Yep.
Oh, we had one get a little spacey there. That looks like that might be Andrew Melvin in a 17.
I'm watching back to see what happened with Mike Knight. Oh, goodness. I see what happened. He got loose coming off turn 4 and then had to drive around on the apron in turn 1 and 2 until he had room to come back on the racetrack. He's now racing Kenny Powell for the 20th position. And he will take that spot away. Brian Johnson, David Gervais, second place. Gervais has now caught Brian Johnson as Johnson's dropped back a little bit off of Caden Rush. David Gervais took the week off last week at Phoenix. He's back here tonight at Darlington. Next week we're at Michigan, and Al will be out on the racetrack, and that'll actually be my last broadcast here, at least for the near future. We'll see what COVID has to say about me being away, and if things change, then obviously I'll be back, and if not, I'll see you in November.
We certainly will miss you where you're gone, Jacob, and we can't wait for you to come back. I'm watching Minazzi Majors in the back of this field. He looks like he's pretty stable in that car. He's picking these spots up, as I say, at the 30. Looks like the 30. Is that the 31 of Cecil Keith? He's trying to get around.
And 33 just gets out of the way there. That is Keith. Nice little battle back here from 15th on back. Aaron Tribble leading this pack. Then it's Minacci Major in the 82. Cecil Keith in the 33. And then you've got the two other Johnsons, Craig and Chris, back here, 18th, 19th. And then you've got Mike Knight lurking in the shadows back there in the 20th spot. Paul Olson way back there, as well as Kenny Powell. Not in danger yet, at least, of getting lapped by Caden Rush, as he's put over a second over Brian Johnson, and David Gervais has actually dropped back. May have burned his tires off a little too much there, trying to close in on Brian Johnson for that second position.
Well, they've got 20 laps, coming on 20 laps on these tires, and I predict the first caution is going to come out within the next 10 laps. And some may ask themselves why Brian Johnson is up in front and his rest of his Johnson team is sitting towards the back. They may have different setups. I mean, they all have different driving styles. They all have tracks that they like and tracks they dislike. Like Chris Johnson and Craig, they may not like this track, so they're just kind of just trying to get through the race and pick up opportunities when they can.
We've got a cluster of cars, 6th on back. Bulky leading the pack. Mike Eames, Andrew Melvin breathing down his neck. Ron Hollyfield also on the edge of this train, as well as Gregory Hectus lurking in the background. Melvin trying to make a move on Eames while they're trying to just catch and pass this 25 of Bulky.
Oh, boy.
Closest battle pretty much on the racetrack right now between these 4 or 5 cars.
We're watching the one car of Aaron Tribble come to the outside of Dalton Mobley in that 72, and he's going to pull Minazzi Majors right along with him. Minazzi Majors is moving to the field.
Cecil Keith coming up. Well, he had a charge, and then he lifted and dropped out of it, and he still has a run coming up off the corner. Looks like he should be able to pass Dalton Mobley, as will Chris Johnson in the 2 car through turn 3. It looks like Mobley's just going to continue to fall through the field at this point. And what in the world? Mike Eames dropped back here in this battle between these 4 cars. He has fallen way back. He was ahead of Andrew Melvin and Ron Hollyfield. And looks like the car just got a little too loose coming off turn 2. And he lost. Actually, he hit the wall. And that's what got him sideways. And he lost a couple of spots. Now behind Hectus, Hollyfield, and Melvin, he's got Clifton Cockrell on his back bumper. Here's Melvin and Bulky for the 6th spot.
We're watching our first pit stop. That's going to be Paul Olson in the 43. He's coming a little early. He must be having issues with that car that he's not liking it.
Well, like I said, he's falling way back.
Major around. Yes, as I talked about him coming through the field, he was the first one.
He got into the wall and then got hit in the back by Aaron Tribble and went hard into the inside safer barrier coming off turn 2. Not sure if we're going to be able to get a replay of that or not, but a hard hit for Munatsi Major on the inside wall. He caught the wall coming off turn 2, slowed up too much, and just got hit by Aaron Tribble. Nothing Tribble could do there in the one car. Major is on pit road right now.
That's a teammate of Caden Rush there, Munatsi Major is.
Yep. Paul Olson to the garage. Done for the night.
That's going to be that's probably going to put the nail in the coffin for Munatsi Major this evening, because he's not going to be able to keep that car from overheating with that heavy front end damage.
Yeah. And he's already 1 lap down, about to be 2 laps down as Rush comes by start finish. So he'll be 2 laps down for the time being. Surprised there wasn't a caution, but I guess since it was on the apron, it makes sense.
Yeah, we're going to see nobody taking tires anytime soon here. Munatsi Major was able to keep it down, so they brought out no caution.
Mm-hmm.
That gave an ability for Mr. Caden Rush to pull out his normal 4-second gap between second place.
Yeah, he's been putting on a Robbie Audi-like domination the past couple of weeks. And he really hasn't been matched. We haven't seen a lot of cautions to bunch up the field and possibly put him in trouble on a restart. He's just been able to keep it nice and smooth and just pull away based on pure speed.
Well, like I said, we've got some drivers that absolutely love these shorter tracks like this, and we have some drivers that absolutely hate them, but they've got to race them because they're in the championship points. Next week, I believe we have Michigan, and we're going to see that's a bigger track. We're going to see a lot of drivers that absolutely love that track come to life. So you'll see some new names up there next weekend, and I hope to be one of them.
Have to wait and see. We'll be cheering for you the whole way. Munatsi Major still on pit road, now 5 laps down. Kenny Powell has also been lapped. Just got lapped a couple laps ago by Caden Rush. So if the caution were to come out, Powell would get the free pass as long as he isn't the cause of a caution.
I think caution. Kenny Powell is just being patient and not trying to push the envelope because usually he gets involved in a wrecks early on that typically aren't his fault, and he's trying to avoid that. He is also riding a new paint scheme this week. He abandoned the blue and yellow paint scheme. It looks like he kind of went to, is that like a purplish with the yellow? Purplish gold? We've got a lot of new paint schemes this week, Jacob. Makes it kind of hard to follow through.
Second place battle heating up again between Brian Johnson and David Gervais. Closest it's been in quite some time, and it looks like Gervais is going to try and make the pass here going into turn 1. And Johnson gives him the spot. David Gervais to second place.
Yeah, David Gervais come to race tonight. He must like this track. He was didn't make last week, so this must be a track that he's kind of comfortable running, and he feels like he can do good here. And for right now, it looks like he can do pretty well. He may be able to get up there and give a little bit of competition to Caden Rush.
Well, it certainly looks like Brian Johnson's car has not been treating him well the past couple of laps. He was sideways there through turns 3 and 4. Gervais is able to keep the car under a little bit more control. However, he's still about 6/10 slower a lap, at least last time by, than Caden Rush.
Yeah, we may have seen drivers such as Brian Johnson who set their cars up believing the same thing that I believed at the beginning of this race, that there's going to be a lot of cautions. So he probably set himself up with a short run car, roughly 25 to 30 laps. And we're already at 33 laps. So he's probably having an issue right now with the tire handling.
Yeah, you said we'd see 7 cautions. Haven't had any so far here at Darlington.
Oh, it looks like Munatsi Major took that. We would have seen that caution if that accident that Munatsi Major was involved in would have been in a different turn.
Yeah.
Luckily, they're
back closer to the front.
Yeah. He did just fine keeping it away from the rest of the drivers, and I'm sure they all appreciate that.
big cluster of cars, 13th, 14th, 15th. Chris Johnson, Aaron Tribble, Cecil Keith right now battling for position. Probably some of the closest racing on the racetrack right now. You see the front end damage on Tribble's car from the contact that him and Munatzi Major made.
Well, it looks like our leader is Caden Rush is right on the bumper of Dalton Mobley, and he kind of gave him the bumper. And I thought maybe Dalton was going to give it back to him.
Next lap car for the leader to get to will be James Colabali in the 17 as Mobley just
Mobley hit
off
the wall.
I'm sure he didn't really want to do that.
No, his car was upset when Caden Rush ran his bumper. And Caden Rush didn't do anything improper there. He just ran his bumper and got his car a little loose so he can get an opportunity to get by him.
And there's only so much room for lap cars to go here. It's pretty much a lane and a quarter that you have at this spot. If you're not in the lane, if you're in the lane, you're in the way, and if you're not in the lane, you're probably wrecking or really off the pace. And Colabali just pulls off and lets Caden Rush go by, which will put 17 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, Caden Rush is about another 6.5, almost 6.5 seconds in front of second place. So it's once again, it looks like an amazing event here. I think next season we'll probably see something a little bit different. We might go to a format, in my opinion, that would match the NASCAR drivers where we all run a fixed setup. Mm-hmm. And that will make this a little bit more competitive. With a fixed setup, it's more about the ability of the driver and less about the ability of the car. Yeah. All the cars are going to be set up the same, and then we can see, we can showcase the ability of the driver themselves. To me, I believe that's a little bit more fair than this, because obviously you see week after week, we have Caden Rush has an amazing ability to set up a car to make it like it's on rails. Like, you don't really need to drive it that hard. Mm-hmm. It just is amazing to get around here. If you put that same driver in a fixed setup, we may be seeing a whole different outcome.
Well, that's what the Cup Series did when they did the iRacing Series over the at the start of the pandemic here on iRacing, and we saw a lot of different drivers up at the front that we wouldn't normally see. Maybe it's something to consider here. Help balance the playing field out a little bit. However, I think we would see a lot more cautions because you'd have a lot more people closer together with the fact that it's a fixed setup race.
Yeah, Jacob, I'd almost want to say that I would probably prefer that.
Yeah.
Because it gets a little bit more exciting, because this right now is more like a circle where everybody's just driving around like on a Sunday drive. I mean, we were not seeing that much action. And I think it would be more entertaining for everybody involved if we can see these drivers' talents and get them more close together and you get more competition out there. When you have one driver that's now almost 8 seconds in front of second place, the only time you believe they're going to get bunched up is if Caden Rush makes a mistake or if a caution comes out.
But even then, Caden Rush can make a mistake and then still pull away. He's got an 8-second gap, and it's growing, and it's nowhere close to slowing down at this point.
Yeah, he is a third of the track in front of second place.
Yep.
Roughly a third of the track.
At this rate, he may have the whole field lapped, depending on pit stops and if we stay green the rest of the way.
Yeah, we presently have 3 1 lap down, and then we also have Munatzi Majors, who took it to the garage, and Paul Olson called it an early night.
Yep.
The next individual that could go down will be the 83 of Craig Johnson.
And he's got Mike Knight right in front of him, who started third, then had that loose condition coming off turn 2 and lost about 20 spots in the process.
It looks like Caden Rush is roughly about 2.5 seconds behind the 83 of Craig Johnson. So he's going to put him down here at lap if they don't get it pedaled up here a little bit.
Certainly won't be long.
Kind of makes me wish I can reach up on that screen and just grab the rear end of Caden Rush and just pull it back about 10 seconds.
Might have to do a last to first challenge at one of these races. Disqualify him in qualifying, put him all the way at the back, and let him show us what he can do coming through traffic.
Well, maybe we ought to try that in one of these next races here, where if you qualify on the pole, we're going to do a reversal, and we won't tell them about that. Say, well, you qualified on the pole, you all, the top 10, go to the back. And we're going to move them forward from there. I mean, that might be something we try. If they're that good, they shouldn't have to worry about it.
Yep.
It's really easy to get in front of the field. Who's on pit road right now?
That's Marty Walter.
Oh.
Back really burned his stuff off. He's now 1 lap down. He's on pit road. He'll at least be 2 laps down by the time he gets off of pit road, if not 3 down.
Well, thank you, Marty Walter, for doing it. Whoa! Who was that clipped the wall right in front of our leader?
That was Craig Johnson, the guy that was about to be lapped. He just did it for him. Just got in the wall coming off turn 2. Really slowed himself down. Almost wrecked right in front of the leader. Rush is all right. He's able to get by. We'll now focus his sights on Mike Knight in 15th spot in the 68 machine.
Yeah, that's the only obstacle that Caden Rush has right now. He has to be very cautious on passing these cars. He has to pass them. He almost has to pass them on the high side, because if he passes them low, he's going to have an issue. But again, he has to pick and choose where he passes them, because if he passes them high in a turn, he can stand a chance that they drift up and pinch him right in between the wall. And that's where it's going to be a problem for him.
But if you're a lap car, you'd also got to be smart enough to try and get out of the way of the leader when you know they're coming up on you and you know they're faster than you. Otherwise, it may not be viewed too popularly. Yeah, I think that's a word, in the garage area.
We'll make it right now if it ain't. I understand that concept, but you also have to remember these guys want to stay on the lead lap, and they're praying right now. Like right now, Michael Knight in that 68 is just praying for a caution because the leader is right behind him, and he's going to try to pass him low.
Oh.
And he pinches him right up against.
Yeah, that was something right there.
That was
viewed between risky or what, but that could have been bad.
But now Caden Rush has got 5 cars in front of him that are not going to be so easy to pass. You can pass them one when there's a 3-second gap between them, but these cars are literally less than a second apart that he's coming up on.
Once it gets through those cars, there will be 9 cars left on the lead lap. 10th place Austin Bulkey leads that group. Then Mike Eames, Cecil Keith, Chris Johnson, Aaron Tribble. Those are the cars in front of the leader right now, Caden Rush, who has a 10-second lead over David Gervais in second spot.
It looks like Aaron Tribble is battling really bad with Cecil Keith. No, he's battling with a Johnson. He's battling with Chris Johnson, trying to stay in front of.
Here comes Caden Rush.
Oh, this is going to end very bad. Very bad, because he's going to go high on one and low on another. He's going to wiggle his way through here.
He's
going to stay high.
Think he'll try and get him down the backstretch. And he will, to the inside.
These drivers in front of Chris Johnson want to stay on the lead lap. They've got to make the window not open for Caden Rush to get through. Cecil Keith, Michael Eames, and Austin Bulkey, they all have to stay really close to each other and make it almost impossible for him to get around.
Well, but Bulkey's a teammate for Caden Rush, so we know he won't make life difficult for him. The other two, I'm not so sure.
Well, see, they got one going low, and that's Michael Eames.
Michael Eames,
he pulls over like he's in a parallel park and just slows it way down. He's like, forget it. You guys can have
he came back onto the racetrack, so he will stay out. But he just wanted out of there, and it looks like Cecil Keith is going to pull to the inside, and he'll let Caden Rush go by. So 10 cars right now on the lead lap. The one that's next is Austin Bulkey, who's a teammate, and he'll let his teammate go by right there. 9 cars left on the lead lap. Gregory Hectus, last car in the lead lap, and he is in the middle of 3 and 4 right now, so it won't be long.
Oh, looks like the 2 is going in the inside of Cecil Keith there, one of the Johnsons. They're battling side by side. This is
Tribble's right there as well. At least they're doing it now after the leader pitted. Dalton Mobley's on pit road.
Oh, they should have done all that action before. Could have seen some game changer there.
By them all. And here comes the one. Tribble will clear Cecil Keith. And Caden Rush is gone. I mean, Long gone. Stephen West, Gregory Hectus, they are on pit road, so they go one lap down, but they are pitting now. Trying
9
to get
cars on the lead
tires.
lap.
Make it 7 cars on the lead lap. And we got Clifton Cockrell coming on to pit road. Typically, he's one to stay out late in a run. He's going to be one of the first cars to come on to pit road during this stint. Leader Caden Rush will continue to stay out. We'll see how long he can go. The fuel window is 71 laps for these guys, so they should be all right on fuel. These guys are probably pitting for tires. We'll see how long these guys are willing to stay out on this old rubber.
See, the guys that are just been lapped, if they were smart enough, they would get on pit road as fast as they can and try to get at least one of their laps back and pray for no caution.
But instead, they stay out. James Colabali is on pit road. He was one of the first cars to be lapped.
Oh, we had a big scramble back there. It looks like behind Austin Bulkey.
Well, I tell you what,
Tribble.
You've got a car in the mix there that is on new tires. That's the 74 of Stephen West trying to slice and dice his way through the field.
Trying to get back on the lead lap, and he's wanting it bad. And these guys, if they were only the battle leaders.
He's the first car 2 laps down, so he's trying to get 1 lap back as he's all over the bumper of the 25. Oh, the 25 saved it. Whew. That was close.
It's going to be a mess.
And here comes Chris Johnson on the outside.
And it's not a place to be. We've already seen Aaron Tribble get loose. Is he going to be able to keep it down?
This is going to play into the hands of some of the guys that have not pitted yet. If these guys decide to wreck, Bulkey continues to fall back. There goes Cecil Keith on by. Mike Knight's going to freight train by. Craig Johnson's into the picture. Bulkey continues to stay out on the racetrack as he's getting passed by everybody, sinking through the field like a ship's anchor. And Bulkey falls all the way back to 12th. Here comes Tribble to the inside of Chris Johnson, at least trying to in turn number 3.
I'm seeing somebody going to hit the wall and take off half this field here in a bit.
It's possible, especially with some of the older tires, some on the newer tires. Clifton Cockrell's in this pack now. He's on new tires, getting by Mike Eames, and now has to try and get by the 4 cars in front of him. Marty Walter, Cecil Keith. Walter's also on somewhat newer tires. His tires are about 10 laps older than Cockrell's.
Aaron Tribble's on the inside, and he is going to pass Chris Johnson with ease. And it looks
maybe, yes.
Marty Walters is going to get through this mess. He doesn't like what he's seeing in his windshield right now on that 511. He's wanting past these guys.
Oh, Cecil Keith got hit by Cockrell. In all they go. Turn 1, everybody. Evasive action. No caution. They're able to keep the cars straight. Oh, Chris Johnson. Oh, Craig Johnson.
He spins him. Cecil Keith.
Oh, no, they did crash. And
Cecil Keith gets
he
loses it.
Wow, not for long. Crash.
They're going to bring that up on the track here. It looks like Cecil Keith was involved in that.
Cecil Keith is pitted. Another car on pit road. That's Mike Eames. He was ahead of all of that. Craig Johnson continues to stay out. No caution.
Yeah, Michael Eames came in there. Oh, it was a mess. Those guys.
Let's take a look at the replay. It was 2 separate incidents here off of turn 2. We'll first look back at Craig Johnson. He just drove it in on the apron, got sideways, and then gets turned by Gregory Hectus. They were 3 wide. Hectus way on the bottom. Hectus came up, thought he might be clear of Johnson, and wasn't. Meanwhile, ahead of him, Cecil Keith, he just drives into the wall off turn 2 and spins out.
Yeah.
Hits the wall on corner exit, bounces off of it again, and that sends him to the inside wall.
We've got the 25 off the Bulkey on pit road. Yeah.
Yep. 6 cars left on the lead lap.
Oh,
Ron Hollyfield's the next car to get lapped, and he's not too far ahead of the leader. who continues to blink a lot.
We got Kenny Powell coming to pit road as well in the 24 machine. He has said enough is enough. I need some new rubber on this.
Powell has yet to pit, I think. He fell 2 laps down while out on the racetrack, so he'll probably return 3-ish laps down. Cecil Keith still on pit road, 4 laps down at this point. About to be more.
Gregory Hectus must have new rubber on that 87
Craig
machine because
Johnson
he
is
is
in.
coming through the field.
So the last part of that wreck is on pit road. Mike Knight is in. Brian Johnson is pitting. No. What?
No, that wasn't pit road right there.
No, that wasn't pit road. I tell you what, he hit the wall off turn 2 and had to slide it down the back straightaway, hit the wall again, had to get on the apron to avoid other cars. Johnson falls 1 lap down, and he will remain on the racetrack. He had to slide it through in order to keep
He's
it on
going
the
to come on
racetrack.
pit road here this next time by. His car.
And here comes everybody. Chris Johnson's in, Andrew Melvin, Jay Felton, David Gervais. Second, third, and fourth are on pit road right now.
And I believe we're going to see Brian Johnson at 4.
And the leader, Caden Rush, is in as well. Another car in, spinning.
Oh, look at on pit road. Brian Johnson pulls it sideways.
His tires are shot. So everybody is on pit road that wasn't on pit road except for Aaron Tribble, who's got damage. He's staying out. He needs to go around another full lap in order to pass Caden Rush for the lead. Rush still hasn't made it into his pit stall yet.
Yeah, maybe
Now he has. Tribble stays out.
Maybe he's thinking this is going to help him. He just probably wants to lead a lap is what I'm guessing.
Well, he didn't lead that one. Rush is still on pit road. New leader, Aaron Tribble. With all that front-end damage, we've got 10 cars on the lead lap. And Tribble continues to stay out, and he's got over a 7-second lead on Caden Rush. But Rush will be there in a hurry on the new tires.
Yeah, he's going to
Brian
move
Johnson
through this field.
still on pit road. Cecil Keith is also still on pit road. He's 8 laps down. Here comes Gregory Hectus. So 8 cars on the lead lap, now 9. Hectus goes by. And here comes Tribble. Tribble is sliding it onto the apron. He's coming to pit road. So things will cycle through, and Caden Rush will be out in front once again. He has a 3-second lead. No, it's got to be more than that.
Oh, it's about a 3-second, yeah.
Lead on Stephen West, who has slid into the second spot. But that lead I think, is just going to increase as time goes on now. 9 cars on the lead lap. Hollyfield, first car 1 lap down, and he is way far behind Caden Rush as he's trying to get by Mike Eames in turn 3, and he will.
Lord, there is a 10-second gap between second and third place, Jacob. 10 seconds.
Wonder, Stephen West is on the older tires, so Stephen West, with the undercut, actually gained a couple of spots and was able to pass Gervais. So Gervais came out right around the same time frame back from Rush as he was when they first pitted. However, Stephen West was able to gain time because he's on older tires. His tires are about 14 laps older than Caden Rush's, and that's why he is so far, and that's why he's going to continue to fall through the field at this point, trying to stay out on the strategy, hoping there would be a caution at some point later on in this run that he can get on the same strategy. This is a mess. Marty Walter in 6th place, and he's got a hornet's nest behind him. He's got the one who he's blocking. Never mind, now he's getting out of the way. Just gave up a spot to Andrew Melvin. Let Kolibali by, as well as Tribble. That could have been big. Oh, geez. And he got sideways and almost lost it there off turn 2. Another car slow, way up in front of him, trying to figure out who it is. Craig Johnson is back on pit road.
Well, I can almost say, Jacob, this might solidify the championship for Caden Rush, unless he just, I just seen Stephen West clip the wall again. He better get in.
Unless Caden Rush retires before the end of the season, I think you're right. Caden Rush has this thing locked up. Second place is Brian Johnson. He's now 18th on the racetrack right now after the miscue. 3 laps down is Brian Johnson at this point. So the highest Johnson right now is Chris in 10th, who's 1 lap down. Cecil Keith, 14 laps down, still on pit road. 7 cars on the lead lap.
Here's a battle with David Gervais. Is that Brian Johnson?
No, that's Chris Johnson, who slides up out of the way.
Yeah. He gives it to him. There's a lot of give and take here with these drivers. There's a lot of professionalism.
Jay Felton. Felton is 4th on the racetrack and closing in on David Gervais. They're on the same lap old tires. But that 8 car is closing in a hurry.
Got to believe Stephen West had to have pitted because he is out there on 76 lap tires, maybe. No, he has pitted. He has to have pitted.
Yep, everybody has pitted at this point, at least once.
Yeah. It looks like Stephen West has pitted with everybody else just a lap earlier, he should be.
West pitted on lap 23 laps ago. He pitted at the beginning of the pit stop cycle. That pit cycle lasted about 20 laps or so, maybe 10. It was a long time until we saw everybody else, including the leaders, come onto pit road. So West is definitely on older tires, but his tires aren't as old as some others. Marty Walters on the oldest tires on the racetrack right now, 32 laps old. He's 7th right now, about to get he did get lapped. Caden Rush now closing in on Clifton Cockrell, who's in 6th. He's on 10 lap old tires than Caden Rush at this point.
Well, if you would have told me this race was going to go like this, I would have said you're absolutely crazy. I cannot believe we haven't seen cautions. We've seen some potential cautions, but the drivers were able to keep it off the racetrack, to keep the caution from coming out.
Oh, geez. Cockrell almost just took out the leader in turn 1. 5 cars on the lead lap.
That's what Caden has to battle with. He has to battle with these guys not wanting to give up a lap. I mean, it's going to happen.
Jay Felton closing in on David Gervais. Position. About 3/10 back. He's been working on him the last couple of laps, trying to reel him in and take 3rd place away. 15 seconds is the gap between 1st and 2nd. Caden Rush, Stephen West. Craig Johnson, Cecil Keith, they're still on pit road. Johnson 12 laps down, Keith 21 laps down. I think they're going to be done for the night here.
Biggest movement of the race right now is going to be Clifton Cockrell, and he is running in 6th place, 1 lap down right now. He started this race at 18th, and he is up in 6th.
Felton gaining time still on Gervais. Through 1 and 2.
And Gervais is correcting Stephen West. He's catching up to him. So it looks like Jay Felton.
West is on older tires, so it makes sense that they're closing in. This is a battle for 2nd whenever West decides to come onto pit road, however early it will be. And they're only about 2 seconds behind West right now. Could become a 3-car battle for 2nd pretty quickly.
And we're still seeing Craig Johnson and Cecil Keith are both on pit road, and they have been there for a matter of 5 minutes.
Yeah. And Keith has been on there for 11 minutes now. And here comes Felton inside for third. Going into turn one, third place, Jay Felton clears him. And now they get to focus on chasing down Stephen West, who's just a second and a half in front of him.
Well, we're sneaking up on halfway here. Why don't we stop for a commercial break?
Sounds good. We'll run that, then we'll be back in a moment.
All right, and welcome back. We're exactly where we left off. Everybody's
Yeah, really.
driving,
Well,
turning
here's
left.
per second. West and Felton, it won't be very long. I think it'll be a pass right turn one and be done with it. There it goes. Jay Felton to second. He's got 20 and a half seconds to catch Caden Rush. He's way far back.
That's literally almost a whole lap, almost a whole racetrack in front of second place there. Caden Rush is walking away with this. The only thing we're going to see that's going to make this race, very exciting is if we see one of these lap cars that Caden Rush is trying to pass, make a mistake and catch him in it. Stephen West has got that rear really loose in that 74 machine. It's going to be a matter of time before he spins that thing completely out of control.
Yeah.
Let's take an in-car camera view with Stephen West right quick and kind of see how he's managing this. Let's go into the cockpit of the 74 machine of Stephen. Pretty steady coming down that backstretch. And in this turn here, not really seesawing the wheel too much, so it's sticking pretty well.
Yep.
Now let's compare Stephen West and our leader, Caden Rush. Let's go in the cockpit with Caden Rush in the 15 machine right quick.
We just slid it through turn 3 and 4 that last time by, so it's definitely a loose race car for him. He may like it like that, though.
Yeah, if you want to see loose, watch the inside camera view, the cockpit view of Caden Rush. He's seesawing that wheel back and forth in all these turns. So he's lifting a little bit there. He gets down to about 7,000 RPM, 6,800, back into gas, right back up. But he's seesawing that wheel. So when you compare those two, it kind of looks like Caden Rush, even though he's pulling away from the field quite a bit. He is battling that car, Caden Rush is.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's got, if we stay in the in-car camera view here, we've got some cars that Caden Rush is coming up on that he's going to have to try to pass.
Lead lap car, Andrew Melvin, and then one lap down car, Aaron Tribble. Melvin 5th, Tribble 11th.
Now let's go back out and let's watch this race here and see if we can see the pass here with Caden Rush as he comes up to try to put down another one a lap down here, because we only have 5 cars on the lead lap as we sit right now, and that's Caden Rush, Jay Felton, David Gervais, Stephen West, and Andrew Melvin. That's our 5 cars. The rest of the field is 17 are a lap down.
They're all 20 seconds or more behind, and it won't be long at all I think by the end of this green flag run, we'll have everybody but Caden Rush 1 lap down.
Yeah, he's 8 seconds away from being a whole lap in front of everybody.
And we are just about at the halfway point. I don't know what the actual halfway number is, but we're there. we're past it, I think, at this point. 95 out of 183. Yeah, we're past halfway. So Caden Rush has led the most laps, trying to lead at this point all of them and then some. The McDonald's Wi-Fi that he's on or whatever, the hamster powering his modem might have fallen asleep or something. It's not great for Caden Rush, not ideal, but doesn't affect the speed of the race car because he's just been able to pull away the whole time.
Yeah, he doesn't need fast internet because he's in a fast car.
And another slow car up there, that's Dalton Mobley. It's now 3 right in front.
Oh, Caden Rush blinked out again, and he's back. He's going to the inside of the 37.
Side by side in front of him as well. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, Dalton Mobley catches him, and it's
he saved
Dalton Mobley.
Dalton Mobley just punted the leader. Dalton Mobley just moved Caden Rush down the straightaway. I think Caden's internet had something to do with it. And that allowed Tribble to get away. 4 cars on the lead lap.
That was almost bad for our leader.
Yeah. That almost had our first caution. But instead, we remain green. Although Rush is blinking a lot more than he was earlier on.
Well, the only prayer that the rest of the drivers in this race have is that maybe Caden Rush loses his internet.
Yeah. That or he loses his life trying to get around. Like what almost happened there between himself and the 77 of Dalton Mobley. Mobley now 3 laps down in the 15th position. And Stephen West will be the next car that Rush puts a lap down.
It's kind of hard to watch a race because you don't know where Caden Rush is at. All we know is he is roughly 21 seconds in front of second place.
Should be in a one-stop strategy here at this point. At least for the leaders, as long as they go out on the same stint they had on the last one, they should be able to make it to the end on one more stop. Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. So we're now 83 laps away from the checkered flag.
Well, if Caden Rush can outrun his blinking, he's blinked out probably more than the laps he's turned. He's blinked out at least 2 a lap here, so he might not only get the most laps led tonight, but the most blink outs.
Well, when he almost got turned, he blinked 3 times in the same corner. So it kind of varies for Rush at this point. There's 2 blinks in the same corner.
And as a driver, that's frustrating when you see that in front of you. I mean, Caden Rush doesn't know he's doing it.
That's 4 blinks in a lap there for Caden Rush.
He has a fairly strong ping. I don't understand that.
Lights are starting to come up here at Darlington to finish us off here tonight. As well,
yeah, that was almost a boo-boo.
Yeah. It could have been a big one considering the leader's right behind him. And Rush gets by without a problem. Whoa, Marty Walter sent it in underneath Andrew Melvin and gets by him.
It's very frustrating for the drivers that are trying to allow some space for Caden Rush to get by because they really don't know where he's going to appear.
There's a Dalton Mobley coming off pit road. So now the cars in front of Caden Rush point are Chris Johnson, the 3 of Mike Eames, the 74 of Stephen West. That's a car that he will put 1 lap down, and then Gregory Hectus, who just got passed by West. So 3 cars, now make it 4 cars that Marty Walter just passed him. Walter on fresher tires, pitted 11 laps ago.
This has to be frustrating. Not only is he dominating the field, but he is blinking in front of the drivers, and they want to be courteous because nobody wants to be the one that takes out the leader. But you can do it by accident, as we've seen Dalton Mobley do it. You don't know. Oh, it's 3 wide there.
And Eames is dropping way back. And he's not even pitting. He's staying on the racetrack.
Dalton Mobley, Caden Rush and Dalton Mobley had a little altercation earlier, and Dalton Mobley's right behind him.
He had the fresher tires there and thought about going. Now he can't. But this ought to make a restart very interesting if you can't see where the leader is at coming to the green flag.
That makes it pretty fun, but we're going to watch and see what Dalton Mobley does because he looks like he's racing with a purpose. Is he going to do something to our leader? He's going to go to the inside. Oh, he got him.
The wall. So now Caden Rush has damage on his car. And I think that was more netcode than anything, but there was contact and Rush is still gone. Now he's back. Wow. Wow.
I almost want to say that was a little bit of netcode, but I do think that was some unprofessionalism of Dalton Mobley. I'm going to bring that out there, and I'm going to say that.
Was some netcode, but sending it in on the leader like that? Whew. Clifton Cockrell is on pit road. Caden Rush's gap is actually kind of plateaued a bit. It's hovered right around 22.5 seconds. So could this damage actually be affecting Caden Rush's point?
Well, there is some chat going on between drivers out here tonight, and it's getting pretty heated.
I tell you what, Jay Felton is closing in on Caden Rush. Multiple tenths a lap. He cut it down 0.5 second. Jay Felton did. That could have been what gave us a finish at this point. Because Felton is on the same lap hold tires as Caden Rush. And Felton is starting to reel him in as here comes Marty Walter underneath the leader. Fresher tires for that 511 car. And he gets by.
Yeah, this just got a little interesting.
The gap is now under 22 seconds.
I'm kind of tossed in between not knowing exactly what the net code was on that incident between Dalton Mobley and leader Caden Rush, but
Mhm.
I do want to say that there's got to be some professionalism with the lap cars. I mean, they've got to give a little courteous, but again, they're out there racing. I mean, so it's not their job to, it's a courtesy between the drivers for them to pull over and let the leader by, but it's not a necessity. It's not necessarily. I think iRacing has a rule where you're supposed to do that. And maybe you're supposed to stay to the high side where they can pass low. However, you're trying to stay on a lead lap, or you're trying to stay from going another lap down. So you're racing right along with them. So
under 70 laps to go here at Darlington. Caden Rush still out in front with a huge lead. Jay Felton starting to cut into that lead a little bit after contact between Caden Rush and Dalton Mobley for the second time tonight puts damage on the right rear corner of that 15 machine.
that damage didn't do anything. We used to see a couple races ago, we had Kyle Feemster was in a battle with Caden Rush, and now I guess it's Dalton Mobley that must have took his place.
Something.
Well, this is pretty close to like the real NASCAR, okay? A lot of people can't stand Kyle Busch. A lot of them can't stand, and he's a great guy. If you personally got to know him, you wouldn't have these issues you have with him. But they can't stand him because he wins. Okay, and he wins, and he went. Oh, we have a wreck right in front of the leader.
That's Marty Walter. And what happened to him? He just drove into the wall off turn 2 and lost the car and spun it into the inside wall and came back up across the track and almost took out Caden Rush. And Rush would have had nowhere to go, similar to what we saw Nazi Major do.
This is going to be the last pit stop for some of these guys.
It'll be close for them to make it to the end here.
Yeah, they can do about 70
laps.
laps.
It'll be easy on fuel. It'll be tough on tires.
Yeah.
Pits are open, and here comes the leader, Caden Rush. Wow.
And Jacob, this is what the doctor ordered. Now we can see what David Gervais, Stephen West, and Jay Felton all have for the leader.
Felton just got to pit road. David Gervais also in. Stephen West is in. Andrew Melvin gets the free pass. We've got 5 cars on the lead lap. 5.
It's going to get good. We're going to have more than 5 because we're going to get some waiver rounds. We're going to at least have 8 cars on the lead lap when we do green.
Maybe. Hectus just pitted, although he's 2 laps down. Out of the cars that are 1 lap down, Ron Hollyfield, Aaron Tribble, Chris Johnson, Mike Knight, Austin Bulkey, they're all on ancient tires, just like the leaders were.
It's about to get real.
And Andrew Melvin. Wait, he got the free pass. Never mind. Caden Rush is fixing the damage. Jay Felton comes off pit road first. Still working on the Caden Rush machine on pit road. West and Gervais also with damage that they're getting repaired. And here comes a majority of the cars onto pit road. Hectus does stay out. Clifton Cockrell stays out. These guys are in danger of getting lapped. Stephen West, Caden Rush, they all get off pit road. David Gervais also gets off pit road before the pace car does. But Jay Felton will be in the lead, and Stephen West will be on his outside once we get the restart.
I'm not too positive Caden Rush is worried too much about that damage. I just think maybe he was trying to get it fixed with his restart.
I have to wait and see. And we'll have to see if they were able to fix all the damage. No, they were not.
No, they will not. He's coming back on pit road. He is worried a little bit about that damage.
Yeah. And I don't blame him. Especially if he had to sit there for a minute on pit road. That was a significant amount of damage that's on that race car then. We will have just 5 cars on the lead lap for the restart. Andrew Melvin also getting damage repaired. Half the field is getting damage repaired, it feels like. Marty Walter, he's probably done for the night. His car's smoking. Bad. 2 cars stayed out. Gregory Hectus, he's 2 laps down and will remain 2 laps down. Clifton Cockrell stayed out. He's also 2 laps down. He will remain 2 laps down. He'll get the wave around here and go to the tail end of the field. Melvin is rolling. Caden Rush is rolling. And it looks like he got that car repaired now to its full extent at this point. But we'll have to wait and see. And so we hopefully will get 1 lap to green this time by.
Jacob, I'm going to point out that the biggest mover in this race is the 1 car, Aaron Tribble, and he also happens to be the youngest driver in the field today. He is a teenager.
Well, how young is he?
Well, I'm just hearing his voice, and I'm saying he's probably somewhere in the 12 or 13, 14 years of age.
Interesting. Certainly showing off a lot of talent at such a young age.
There are a lot of drivers. Uh-oh, here we go. Let's see what Caden Rush is going to work his way through the field. He's got a lot of competitive cars in front of him.
Caden Rush is going to be 4th out of the 5 cars that are on the lead lap. Caden Rush and Andrew Melvin are going to have to work their way through the lap traffic here, I think, before we go green. And that is what's happening. Actually, I lie. Andrew Melvin has to start all the way back, since he was the free pass car. So he'll need another caution relatively soon to get him up with the rest of the leaders quickly.
We have 5 cars on the lead lap. 5 cars. But now we're going to see what really Caden Rush can do.
Pace cars in, what could be the last restart of the night. I wouldn't bet on it, though. Jay Felton, Stephen West lead us down to the restart. Here we go. Great start for Felton. He's off to the races in the lead. Gervais side by side into turn 1 for 3rd. And they make
David Gervais got loose.
Rex trying to keep it off of him. Gervais is going to lose a ton of time, will not wreck. Hollyfield cuts to the inside. He'll get by. And it's a 3-car battle up front, 3 wide in the back as Cecil Keith drops back through the field. And everybody in the back half of the field hangs on. Well, Gervais almost made contact with Caden Rush. That's the only reason he got, because he had to turn the wheel so far to the left to try and keep it off the left rear of the 15 car. And that's what got him around. And here comes Caden Rush trying to peek to the inside of Stephen West for the 2nd spot. Jay Felton continues to lead. I wonder if dirty air isn't Caden Rush's friend here.
No, it doesn't look like it is. I think his car loves that clean air. But I will say that he's not, he's catching the wall. Yeah. Yeah, he's not liking where he's at right now. He's probably getting a little discouraged. He's not blinking as much, so maybe when he's leading by over 10 seconds, maybe he's outrunning his internet.
And you got to think, maybe because of the damage, that got that car too unstable for him. Because he has not been the same since that accident happened.
Let's not count him out yet. I mean, Yeah, he's done some miraculous things in the past, and let's see what he's got.
Well,
He
here
not
comes
to be
Stephen
sitting
West.
back here. Yeah, waiting for. That's what I was going to say. Stephen West and Jay Felton battle together. They may make a boo-boo, and then guess what? We got Caden Rush rushing to the front.
West trying to prove he's better than the rest. Rush trying to rush up to the front, and then you got Jay Felton. I can't think of a pun for him. I'm
Jay
sorry,
Felton's not feeling it. It's not felt by him. He's keeping it up there, and he loves it. Jay says no way. That's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, Caden Rush is falling back, so his car in
As is
dirty air
Stephen
is
West
not
now.
liking it.
So Caden Rush has to be extremely unhappy with after the contact that put him in the wall.
I really can't say I blame him, but I think some of that
Yeah.
was maybe a little net code, and then some of it was maybe some retaliation, because I feel like the Dalton Mobley kind of feels like maybe he was intimidated a little bit by Caden Rush earlier in the race, and he maybe thought it's only going to happen to me once. It's not going to happen to me again.
Maybe.
But now we've spread out a little bit. Jay Felton put a little gap between Stephen West, and Stephen West got a little gap between Caden Rush.
And then you'd have to go back 5 seconds to David Gervais.
And there's a huge gap between Caden Rush and David Gervais. David
Even a couple
Gervais
of
kind of,
between.
yeah.
Ron Hollyfield is the only car 1 lap down. So if we get a caution, and as long as he's not in the caution, he will get the free pass, and everybody will be 2 laps down or more. If the leaders pit, then we'll have the wave around, potentially.
Caden Rush is putting the pressure back on. He's coming. It looks like he's peeking on the inside of Stephen West here. He's wanting to get that second place and get back in the lead here.
So sideways on the edge off of 3 and 4 especially.
Well, remember, these tires don't come in until about 5, 6, 7 laps. So he's running right into that when his tires are going to start coming in for him.
Well, I mean, we're on a 12-lap run right now.
Oh, I thought we started back at like 120 or something.
Well, the tires at least are that old. Maybe not completely green flag run, but I'd say at least 8 of those would be under green flag here at this point.
I do see a lot of sparks coming from that undercarriage at Stephen West in the turns here. So he must have that rear a little bit lower than everybody else.
Oh, Gregory Hectus and Kenny Powell went for a slide in turn 1 a lap ago. Actually, this was, a lap ago. They stayed green. Hectus lost a ton of time, as did Powell, but they were able to get the cars going in the right direction again. Mike Eames has parked it for the night. He's done. Craig Johnson and Cecil Keith are back on the racetrack. Marty Walters still on pit road. And Cecil Keith is only 29 laps down.
Well, that's not bad. I mean, that's better than 30 laps.
Yeah. Well, give it time. Although his car looks to be decently up to speed at least.
Patience is a virtue. Jay Felton's been patient all night, and look where it's gotten him.
Yep.
With a little help from his buddy Dalton Mobley. And I say buddy, they probably don't know each other, but at least Dalton Mobley turned this race around so we weren't watching the whole Caden Rush show. But where you can't count Caden Rush out yet. He has done some miraculous things, and we've still got 50 laps left in this race. So we could see the Caden Rush
Stephen
show.
West just hit the wall off turn 2.
That's got to worry Caden Rush, because now he's thinking, I got to get around this guy, and he's hitting the wall. He could take me out.
He's already had enough contact with that 15 machine tonight. Enough is enough.
He's kind of trying to find the top side, and Stephen West is running the middle lane here. He's just not wanting to let him by.
But this is allowing Jay Felton to get away, and West is going to let Caden Rush by here as Felton just hit the wall.
Oh, he slides right, a slide job right in front of him. It was really close there.
See if Stephen West says if this battle's done or not. Rush able to pull away.
And all West needs to do is just get to the back end of Caden Rush, and he'll upset his downforce and cause his car to get unstable. But he just can't seem to catch him. See the action back in fourth and fifth. It looks like there's a battle going on. We've got the 25 machine coming underneath.
Goodness, that's a mess back there.
Yes, it is. Aaron Tribble, our youngest driver on the track, he just keeps meeting that wall by accident in that number 1 machine.
Yeah.
Now Caden Rush has closed that gap between him and first place Jay Felton by 0.3 of a second now, and closing. Last time by, Caden Rush ran a 29.107. And our leader, Jay Felton, ran a 29.101. So or 103. Yeah, he is still about 4/100ths of a second faster.
And lap traffic is now going to be part of this.
Now, if you look,
one car thought pulling off to pit road, guess not. Nope, Kenny Powell, he's coming to pit road.
The fastest lap that Caden Rush has pulled was up in lap 125 when he pulled a 27.593 out of his hat. If we look at our leader, Jay Felton, his fastest lap on the track was the same lap, and he pulled a 27.528.
So both of those during this green flag run.
Yeah. So Jay Felton has got a faster car. So the damage on Caden Rush, it might be, he is squirrely. You can watch him. It might prohibit him from getting back into the lead.
Depends on how bad Felton's car is at the end of this run. The gap is now about a second as Felton pulls away a little bit. Under 40 laps to go.
In car with Caden Rush, because I think we're going to see a different cockpit view than we've seen before. He is battling that car. I mean, I can see that front end gets awful squirrely on him. As we watch him go into the turn here, a little seesaw back and forth, cutting it sharp, a little bit to the right. He comes out the corner. See how it swerves back and forth like that. Yeah. He's that damage has really hurt him a little bit here. This is a totally different view than we've seen earlier in the race when he was not so busy at the steering wheel there. See him coming off at turns. He's really sawing that wheel back and forth. Oh, and he catches the wall. It looks like
the first time he's done that over there in 3 and 4.
Yeah, I'm in the in-car here, and I just am watching him. cuts it low,
And
and
he
it looks
lost.
like it just pushes up. I mean, it's taking all the grip from the front of this car away, whatever damage he
lost
has.
0.3 of a second from hitting the wall. The lap traffic is there, though, for Jay Felton now. Looks like Hectus is up there.
Yes, Jay, it looks like Caden Rush just hit the wall again. You can see he jerked the wheel left and then sharply to the right, so he is really...
Craig Johnson, Gregory Hectus, Cecil Keith, all in the way of Jay Felton. The gap now 2 seconds.
Yeah, this is Caden Rush. Stick a fork in him. He's done. Unless something happens with Jay Felton, this is Jay Felton's race. Caden Rush has been bouncing off the wall. His damage that he had in that 50 machine, that's really upset the handling of this car.
Oh, it may not be over. Craig Johnson and Jay Felton. Johnson took Felton's line away, and that allowed him to close in a little bit. As now Johnson gets out of the way and lets Felton go by.
Yeah, we're gonna, at the end of this race, there's gonna be some interesting conversations between, I'm gonna guess, Dalton Mobley and Caden Rush. As I think that's not a very happy driver in that second position right now.
Trying to get his third win on the year. Has Jay Felton won this season? I don't believe he has.
Oh, Caden Rush goes to the inside.
When on the outside there.
Outside, I mean, I believe Jay Felton has came close,
Yeah.
but not yet. I mean, I think he's got a couple top fives, if I'm remembering correctly.
He has run well throughout the season. I just don't think he's gotten to go to victory lane yet. So he's trying to make it his first time here tonight at Darlington. Of course, the points aren't working for me for some reasons. That's why I had to ask there if he had won or not. I don't believe he has. I think Felton's also up close in the point standings, right around the top 5.
We're going to watch this, Jacob. Let's do our very last commercial for this race, and then we'll come back and follow it through to the green flags, and we'll break in if we do have some exciting event take place, but let's take a commercial break.
Sounds good.
And as we were gone, Caden Rush has continued to belt the wall in almost every turn. This car is just very unstable. If you watch from a far chase view, you can watch and see his car is just unstable. I mean, whatever accident involved him and Dalton Mobley and a couple different wall dings, it's taken the handling completely away from this car. He'll catch the wall here coming off this turn.
Yeah, that right side is all jacked up.
Yeah, he has got a lot of damage, Jacob. This car, if he can get around Cecil Keith here, it'd be amazing. But it's just not turning like it was before. It just keeps pushing right up into the wall. He's going to go to the high side of Cecil Keith, and that doesn't upset the car that much. But the handling, watch when he comes off this turn here. You see how the front end do a sway back and forth, and that's just causing him problems. The handling is gone, and the tables have turned because now Jay Felton is 2 seconds ahead of him.
Yep.
Yeah, and there he goes. Caden Rush claps the wall again. I mean, it's just, I feel bad for him, but you know what? At least he's not blinking.
It's true. Battle for 4th. We actually do have a battle inside the top 5. 4 position. David Gervais, Andrew Melvin. He's caught Gervais after Gervais had an issue on Caden round. Melvin had to start behind all the lap cars. He's gotten through all the lap cars and is now trying to get that 4th position away.
That's not a name that we usually call out here. Oh, Gervais.
Here comes
Sparks right on Andrew Melvin's 37.
Comes Melvin. Lap car Craig Johnson up in front of him. It appears that Gervais's car has not done well in this night transition. And, this is going to be ugly.
Woo! Uh-oh, Gervais got a little
and
squirrely.
Gervais
Is going to be
drove
able to
too
keep it on
hard.
the track? Oh, and the courtesy of Andrew Melvin not to turn him was amazing. That's a gentleman's arrangement right there, because Andrew Melvin could have easily David Gervais was out of control.
Yeah.
Andrew Melvin could have capitalized on that, but he knew it also could have involved him in the wreck if he doesn't backpedal a little bit and let David Gervais collect it. And now David Gervais is going to keep pushing it in the corner.
He makes it. Back to turn one with these two cars. Now coming off turn two, Marty Walter is finally off pit road after bringing out our lone caution tonight.
Here we go, Andrew. Let's watch Andrew Melvin. He just creeps up on him and then backs off. Creeps up on him and backs off. He's trying to find every safe avenue around David Gervais. And this
almost made contact going to turn one.
Oh, and it does.
He pushes. And Melvin takes the spot. We're going to have a lot of unhappy drivers tonight, like we're at a short track.
That kind of looked like that accident involving Andrew Melvin.
Yeah.
He drifted up a little bit there and forced David Gervais into the wall.
Well, I think he was doing everything he could to try and keep it on the bottom. It's insanely difficult to do that here. Two-and-a-half-second lead for Jay Felton.
Hearing a little chatter. I'm hearing chatter on the racetrack between Dalton Mobley and Caden Rush, and I do believe both of them will get called to the trailer after the race.
Ruh-roh.
yeah, they're not. Their crews are not happy with each other, and we've got to intervene to make sure this doesn't drift off into races into the future. And it doesn't turn into an ugly mess tonight. Yeah.
20 laps to go.
And now we've got Jay Felton has moved up to a 2.4 second lead in front of second place Caden Rush. And if Caden Rush, he's now blinking a little bit more, but not as severe as he was before. Apparently his car, like I said, maybe his car was so fast it was outrunning his internet.
Maybe. Jay Felton about to catch Clifton Cockrell. Put him 3 laps down. Again, 5 cars on the lead lap, and unless somebody wrecks in the top 5, we will finish with 5 cars on the lead lap. Ron Hollyfield, the only car 1 lap down. Chris Johnson on back is 2 laps down or more. We've got 5 cars 2 laps down. Hectus is 3 laps down. Brian Johnson and Kalabali are 4 laps down. Mobley 6 laps down. Kenny Powell 7 laps down. Craig Johnson 18 laps down. Cecil Keith 30 laps down. Marty Walter 44 laps down. Everyone else, Mike Eames, Munatzi Major, Paul Olson, out of the race. And Felton was able to get by. Clifton Cockrell put him now 3 laps down, so the last car 2 laps down. 68 car of Mike Knight. And I don't know if Felton will be able to get to him before the checkered flag flies. We'll have to see.
Yeah, because we are sitting about 20, not even 20 laps, about 16 laps for the end of this race. Now,
we are
15
under 20 to go. 16 to go at the line here. We'll be at 15 to go next time by. Jay Felton, again, we believe looking for his first win on the season. And About to pull it off at one of the most difficult racetracks we'll go to. I think the other difficult one will be North Wilkesboro to wrap up the season. Dover should be okay. Michigan next week will be all right. Watkins Glen should be okay because people are familiar with it. Daytona is probably the only other wild card, but that's not difficult. It's just we have a tendency for a lot of wrecks to happen there.
Yeah, a lot of impatiency. I mean, that's a good drafting track.
That's right. We're not going to Watkins Glen. We're going to the Daytona road course, and they will add that final chicane off of NASCAR Turn 4 for it for us to use. So we will be using that layout that they are planning to use at Daytona in a couple of weeks. We will be using that layout here as well.
You almost had me, Jacob. I thought, well, maybe I'll run Daytona. Then you mentioned road course.
Yeah, well, the Oval Daytona, that comes towards the end of the month. I believe the schedule goes Michigan, Daytona Road Course, Dover, then the Daytona Oval, and then we wrap things up at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, I'm a bigger 1.5-mile track racer that I enjoy those tracks a lot more than I do this track. Any track I have to turn right on or use my brakes with, I'm not really a fan of.
Sounds about right.
Jay Felton is sneaking up on somebody else to put him a lap down here.
Marty Walter, the guy that brought out the lone caution. Dalton Mobley's back on pit road. Been on pit road for a while. Walter almost died coming off turn 4, goes to the apron, gets out of the way. So yeah, Mobley's back on pit road. He's been on pit road for 3 minutes now. I think he might park it for the night. Well, we have 12 laps to go here at Darlington.
And these cars look amazing at night, don't they? This is a very good race in the evening.
I wish we had more night races on the schedule.
Oh, yeah. It's a fun one to watch and roll into the night like this. So.
Yep. We'll have 10 to go here at start-finish.
Jay Felton is trying to get around that 17 machine of James Scullerbelly.
Yep.
James lets him by. The next one by, I think I've seen the rear end of Kenny Powell. I've seen it with a bunch of sparks coming off the back end of it there. So that's how I knew it was Kenny Powell. We had a heck of a change here. We've got about 9 laps left, and we're going to be done with this. But we thought this was going to be the Caden Rush show, and now Jay Felton has upset it. It's Kenny Powell is trying to stay in front of Jay Felton.
I also thought we were going to have 7 cautions here tonight. We had 1. Yeah. So everything that we thought going into tonight, just throw out the window because none of it happened.
Well, I've learned from past experience that whatever you want to happen the opposite of, then you say the opposite of it. If you can remember back when I used to say, my pick to win these races is blah, 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 and then they crash out in the first lap. Okay?
Well, I tell you what, Andrew Melvin has slid into 3rd place. Stephen West has fallen back to 4th. Andrew Melvin's going to get out of here and finish.
That's a great finish for Andrew Melvin. We don't speak much for Andrew Melvin in the past, but this has been an amazing race for him this evening. He's had his patient pants on and stayed away from everybody.
And typically when he's running up front, he'll get involved in somebody else's mess and wind up not finishing or at least damaging the race car.
Yeah, so that's a very good race for Andrew Melvin. And welcome back, David Gervais. He's going to come finishing this thing at least in the top 5.
Yep.
Unless something happens within the next 6 laps.
He's 3.5 seconds behind Stephen West. And I don't think he'll get there in the 6 laps we have left, but we'll have to keep our eye on it.
And Jay Felton, he just needs to keep it clean and keep running his line like he's running it, and he's walking home with it because he is a 2.6 second in front of second place of Caden Rush.
Five laps to go for Jay Felton. This race has certainly had a lot of action. We have seen a couple, just not incidents that have been able to bring out a caution.
Yeah, if all those would have brought out a caution, I might have been right.
Yeah,
I might.
I think we would have had four at least.
At least
And,
4 or
you know,
5 cautions.
3 cautions.
Yeah. And if the race wouldn't have went any differently, we probably would be seeing Caden Rush winning this race. And I feel bad for Mr. Caden Rush. However, that's what happens. I mean, you get in lap traffic and you're blinking. So, I mean, there's a lot of people at fault for this. So I know Caden Rush is not happy with the ending he's going to get out of this. At the end of the day, he may take it a little bit to heart, thinking that it's better than a last place. What he could have got if his internet would have blinked out on him and it would have booted him out. So second place is still going to keep him in the points lead. So you don't win a race.
Clifton Cockrell is on pit road. I don't know why. We've got 3 laps left.
I mean, he's going to use this to get around the track a little bit more than 183 laps.
And could just park it here as well. We'll have to wait and see. Coming to 2 laps to go for Jay Felton.
This time by, he'll get the white flag.
Nope, 2 to go. Next time by, he'll get the white.
I believe this time by, won't he, Jake? This time by, he'll get the white flag, and the next time by will be the end of the race.
No, we are on 182 of 183. So once we're on 183 of 183, we'll get the white flag.
I believe I thought this was a 184 lap or 182 laps. My bad.
White flag, 1 lap to go for Jay Felton. As Craig Johnson gets out of the way, he's going to finish 19 laps down. He almost wrecks it. And for Caden Rush, if this race was any longer, Andrew Melvin might have. He's only half a second back on Caden Rush, but in the end, it doesn't matter. Jay Felton
coming across the start-finish line and gets his first.
Has a lot of luck. He's going to get his first win on the year. Caden Rush, not going to happen. Jay Felton wins at Darlington. And David Gervais, Stephen West fighting for the line. Gervais gets 4th.
Nice finish. That was amazing.
At the line of photo finish for 4th. And I can't imagine Caden Rush is very. Did get back out on the racetrack. He'll finish 17th officially, or unofficially.
Let's run down the top 10, and then we'll wait and we'll talk to our first-time winner of the season, Jay Felton.
So your winner, Jay Felton, 2nd place, was Caden Rush. 3rd place, Andrew Melvin. 4th place, David Gervais in the 5 car. Top 5, Stephen West in the 74. Then 6th, 1 lap down, the 90, Ron Hollyfield. 7th, the 2 car of Chris Johnson, 2 laps down. 8th place, the 25, Austin Bulkey, also 2 laps down. 9th place, Aaron Tribble in the 1, also 2 laps down. Rounding out the top 10, Mike Knight. He started 3rd. He'll finish 10th in the 68 machine, 3 laps down.
Well, we're watching the burnout, or the lack of, I should say, of Jay Felton right now. Looks like he's just, there's more fans in this racetrack than there's been in a while. I guess COVID's over in the virtual reality world here.
Something like that.
Look at the clouds. If we go on to a scenic view, it's a great view. Looks like Jay Felton is going to be in the booth with us here momentarily.
And hopefully you'll be able to talk to Caden Rush as well, possibly. Maybe even Andrew Melvin. Have to see.
Yeah, I think we may be able to reach out to Andrew Melvin as well and bring a 3rd place in. That's a great, that is a great finish for him. Well, let's speak to Caden Rush. I think they're going to bring Caden Rush. They're going to try to divert him from pit road so he stays away from Dalton Mobley, and they're going to bring him to us here at the broadcast booth. So wait momentarily. They're trying to gather up Caden Rush, and we will speak to Caden Rush first.
May have to drag him kicking and screaming up here.
He'll be
And there
fine.
he is.
Mr. Caden Rush, how are you, sir?
It would have been a whole lot better had we got one extra spot there.
We seen it, Caden. Keep it clean now. We understand the frustration. We just want to talk to you first so you stay out of somebody else's pits. So we seen the altercation. And from my view, it looked like a little bit of a blinking issue. Seemed like when your car was in the lead, you blinked quite a bit. In second and third place, you didn't blink so much. And we made a joke saying maybe you were outrunning your internet. But we're sad to see that you finished, you got taken away your lead from you there. But it did make it for a little bit more of an exciting race for everybody else involved when that did occur. So half of me's sad and half of me's relieved.
Well, thank you there. No, I'm still pissed about not winning the race. I feel like I should have. I had a huge lead coming in there. No fault to Marty. I know he was the one that brought the yellow. He was on fresh tires, just trying to gain back time. There was nothing he could do. He was just trying to run, trying to get time back. Pissed about the race, obviously. Overall look out on it though. Brian had some issues. I know he had an issue getting to pit road there on that first stop, I think. He was second in points. We really were fighting him. He was somewhere around 30 back, I think, coming this race. Steven was third in points, I think. We got him by 3 spots. So really overall look on it on the season. Have extended the gap on Brian here by a good bit, and also on Steven. Jay was 4th in points, I think. So
we got to look at the bigger picture, Caden. The bigger picture is the championship. It's not the winning this race. I mean, you would gain a little bit more by winning one race. But I knew something was going to come out when you started passing those lap cars, and we only had 5 cars on the lead lap, and that is an accomplishment, in all itself. So I would dare say that even though second's not first, second's not the worst.
Yes, sir, that is true.
Well, congratulations for your second and extending your points lead a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Great race.
There you have
Let's move
second
on.
place, Caden Rush. Let's talk to third place finisher here, Andrew Melvin.
Mr. Andrew, welcome to the booth. This is Al and Jacob. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's a long time coming.
Yes, we've been waiting for this conversation. Great run tonight. Did you think when you started this race that it was going to be a lot of green flag runs?
Not really. No, not to be honest. Thought we were gonna have some yellows there, and I mean we went pretty deep on a green flag run, so that was awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing, and you pulled it off with a 3rd place, and we've been looking forward to talking to you. We've been watching you all season, and you've getting some opportunities yanked from you, and no fault of your own, and we're glad to see you finally got this 3rd place. It's not that bad, it could have been worse.
Yeah, especially here, definitely can be worse. It's a good monkey off the back to be able to finally get into the top 3 for a race here. So hopefully we can carry this momentum on.
Great deal. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, Andrew, you had a great race, brother. I appreciate you. It was a good run.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, bud.
Bye.
There you
Let's
have your third
talk
place
about
finisher, Andrew
A
Melvin.
race winner.
Yeah.
Who is the race winner tonight? Who is this Jay Felton that we've been watching on the track getting, top 5s and everything? Now, all of a sudden, a little incident on the track with a couple different drivers, and we're talking to a first-time winner this season, Jay Felton.
Hey, Al. It feels good to be in here, man. Feels great to win. I'm really happy. Really want to thank the guys that helped me get here, Andrew Melvin and Mike Eames, the VRT team. These guys work hard, and it really paid off for us. We've had some decent runs, but made some good adjustments on that last stop, and car drove really well.
Yeah, it looked like you were able to manage yourself and actually put almost a 3-second gap between you and Caden Rush. I think Caden kind of threw in a towel and just kept hitting the wall. I mean, I don't understand if his car was just unhandling from his accident he had earlier or the little contact he made, but overall, who cares? You know, we got a new winner up here. It's Jay Felton, first one of the season, and many, many more I'm hoping to see back in this booth.
Well, I like coming in here, Al.
What's your car feel like for next week? Have you started to build on that yet?
No, I don't even know where we're racing next week, Al. A whole focus has been on Darlington. It's a fun place to race, but it's tough. You know, it's hard to pass and it's hard to keep your car clean and not damage your car. And the track, you know, I think the key for me tonight, although to be honest with you, there was a point in this race where I thought I might go a lap down, and I think I was running second. So there was a point where Caden had his car just right and was totally dialed in. My car was tight. I made some adjustments, and to be honest with you, I was really surprised that things worked out like they did on the last run. But my car couldn't have been any better. It was just perfect.
Well, next week, Jay, we're going to be racing at Michigan, and I'll give you a little tip on what's a good setup for Michigan. It's Watkins Glen.
I'll take any tip you give me, Al.
Put your Watkins Glen setup in there because I'll be in the race next week. You put your Watkins Glen setup in that race for Michigan, and we will not be talking to you in the booth next week.
What do you want me to do that for?
I just wanted to see if and I need a leg up. I should have told Caden Rush the same thing because I have a feeling he's starting to get off this track tonight and he's going right to the garage and start working on a Michigan setup for next week. But it doesn't matter what he did this week. I mean, he led the most laps, but it doesn't count because the last laps that was led were led by you. Congratulations.
Well, you know, there's a couple things. I mean, you and I both know Caden will be prepared next week. And, you know, apparently he just made the wrong adjustments on his car on that last stop. Maybe got it just a little too free. You know, the track was tightening up throughout the night. And I was chasing the track, and apparently he was too. And maybe he just went over the line a little bit. I don't know.
Well, we don't need to worry about what he did wrong because second place is the first loser and you're the winner. So Congratulations once again on your first win for the season, and I hope and look forward to talking to you a lot more in the winner's circle.
Thank you, Al. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you, buddy. Congratulations. Have a great night.
Your winner here at Darlington. Final thoughts here, Al, before we wrap things up.
Well, it's not been 7 cautions. If you would have told me at the beginning of this race, I would be seeing, talking to a first-time winner up here. I don't know. I might have agreed with you because I kind of felt this race was going to be won by somebody who hasn't won in a while. I didn't want to say it because as in previous experiences, every time I said something like that, I jinxed somebody. And luckily I didn't say it. And we've yet to see a first-time winner for the season.
There you go. Jay Felton picking up his first career win here at Darlington. Next week, we're at Michigan. I'll be all by my lonesome here, I think, up here at the broadcast booth. Al will be out on the racetrack, and we look forward to seeing how well you can do compared to everybody else here next week.
Yeah, I'm hoping I get to stay on the track. I mean, if you hear me in the booth next week, that means my race did not go as planned.
That sounds about right. So that wraps up our coverage here from Darlington for the iRacing Stock Car Association. We'll be back next week from Michigan, same time as always. For Al Kozlowski, I'm Jacob Hitz. Rob Melnick putting up the broadcast for us. He does a great job every week. Thanks to him and to Kenny Powell as well for hosting the league for us and allowing us to do this every single week. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week at Michigan. Good night.